Okay, hi everyone. Good morning and welcome to our session today, speaking with our US experts. I'm Prema Ponadrai, the head of Department of Liberal Arts and Humanities at the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Taylor's University, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. So let's start with a quick look at the house rules for our session today. Dr. Azim, we have the house rules. We have a quick slide on the house rules. So just a few things to remind you that please put your mics on mute and you can raise your hand. You can use the hand icon if you have any questions, or you can even type in your questions in the conversation box that we have, that you have on your right. So, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can this morning. So our session today is part of a 4-part series to explore the options of a US education pathway with discussion on the program we offer at Taylor's ADP, speaking with alumni and working opportunities in the US after completing your degree. So the Taylor's ADP offers a 2+2 pathway, and flexibility is the essence of the program, where you can join after SPM or GCSEs, O-levels, and complete the 2 years with us and transfer to top universities in the US and really anywhere around the world. So today we are chatting with our US colleagues in this conversation session today. Let me introduce you to them. First, we have Eti Abdullah. Eti is from EducationUSA with the US Embassy. Welcome, Eti. Thanks for joining us today. You want to say hi, Eti?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Prema and Taylor, for having me this morning. I'm so excited to be talking to you all about EducationUSA.
Great. Thanks, Eti. Then we have Jackson from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Hi, Jackson. Good evening.
Hi, good morning, everyone in Malaysia. Thank you for everyone at Taylor's for having us here. We're very excited.
Great. We have Chelsea and Jenny from University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, good morning, good evening. Thanks for having the Golden Gophers with you today.
Oh, yay. And then thanks. Then we have Daing. Daing is from the University of Wyoming. Hi, Daing.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Prima. Thank you for having me, you and Dr. Anilita. I really appreciate the invitation. Selamat pagi to everyone. And again, thank you for having me.
Great. And we have Samantha. Samantha is from University of Wisconsin-Madison. Hi, Samantha.
Hi. I echo my colleagues. Thanks so much for having us today. Super excited to talk to all our potential future students and more about US higher ed.
Great. So let's get right into it, as we are saying. So Eti, can we start with you? If you could share with us some information about EducationUSA, the background, what you do, and what is Malaysian students' interest in US education?
Mm-hmm. Okay, firstly, I want to thank you, Prema and Taylor's ADP, for having me this morning. I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Eti Abdullah, and I am the country coordinator for EducationUSA at the US Embassy, Kuala Lumpur. So for those who don't know, EducationUSA is the US State Department network of over 430 advising centers in more than 175 countries. So what we do is we promote US higher education to students around the world by offering accurate, comprehensive, and current information about opportunities to study in the US. So a little bit about EducationUSA Malaysia. We have been hosted by MACE, the Malaysian American Commission on Educational Exchange, since the 1970s. So our advisors are highly trained to provide student support on a range of topics, from getting to know the US education system up until their departure to the States. So we are fully funded by the US government, so our services are free of charge. So among those services are, we provide cohort advising, one-on-one advising. So typically, Advisors meet with students interested in learning about US education, about applying to US university. So usually these advising sessions are held weekly at Macy or even monthly in American Tech Center in Penang by appointment. But however, due to the pandemic, we're going 100% virtual until further notice. And this means advising via Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, or even email if you're not comfortable doing virtual calls. So we have also come up with like a weekly Q&A session on our Facebook page. So it's like within these 2 hours, you're able to chat with our advisors and get instant replies about any questions regarding US education. Other than that, we also travel across Malaysia to do outreach. So advisors and I would give a presentation, conduct workshop at schools, universities, as well as American Corners. So for tailors, especially for ADP students, we conduct a basic intro workshop, essay seminar, essay checking clinic, and as well as PDO session. So I think in the past, we also do niche session like financial aid, applying for those financial aid workshop, and also a workshop for Common App and UC. Other than that, we also sponsor US apps workshop. So it's a 2-day college application workshop organized by current Malaysian students in the States. So this year's workshop is actually happening right now until tomorrow. So if you're interested to join, you can go to their Facebook page. It's USAPPS 2020. So other than that, last year we had the opportunity to travel across Malaysia with together with our colleagues at American Corners. So it's a year-long program to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. So basically, at USA just hop on the tour and we talk about US higher education across Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak. So it was a good experience. Just generate awareness on US higher education to these students that we normally didn't reach. And we were actually planning for the 2.0 version this year. However, due to the pandemic, we had to postpone it. I don't want to say cancel it. So hopefully we could do that again next year, or when time is okay to do. So to cope with the situation, the current situation, we host webinars with US universities, community colleges. So since May, we have hosted over 20 webinars. So if you would like to know more about these webinars, you want to join future webinars, you can follow us on social media. It's EducationUSA Malaysia. So on our social media, also we share resources on US higher education, like scholarship opportunities, universities, information. So yeah, do follow us. We also provide pre-departure orientation. So this is what I said earlier, PDO, for those leaving to the US to study. So we usually have it at USA office every year, as well as universities like Taylor's if they request us to do one. However, this year we had to do it virtually, but it was a success. We had over 50 students and parents joining our session, so it was good. And every year we organize Education USA University Fair in KL. Mm-hmm. So we are fortunate enough that our fairs this year happened before the pandemic broke out. So it was a success, and we hope to do it again next year. So hopefully everything is all good in Malaysia, so we can and meet our US university rep colleagues, and so they can talk more about their Malaysia with the Malaysian public. Other than that, today I would like to talk also on numbers and statistics about current Malaysian students in the US. So based on the IIE Open Door report, for last year we had 7,709 Malaysian students currently in the US. So that put us in the number 24 spot for top international students. So that was quite impressive, considering how small Malaysia is. So yeah. But it has been, Malaysia has been one of the top 15 centers, top 20, top 25, I think for about 20 years now or more. and Malaysia has always maintained a stronghold, especially in the undergraduate market, as we are also in the top 15 of undergraduate international students in the US, and we have seen a steady increase in optional practical training participation as well over the years. So I think it's safe to say that US education and work experience are highly valued among Malaysians. And I think I will also want to talk about ADP program, and Malaysia is actually the first country in the Southeast Asia to offer ADP, and we were the only in Southeast Asia to offer this program until last month when Taylor's branched out to Indonesia and is now offering with UIC College, right, in Jakarta.
Yes.
And so we're very excited for that. And that should be it. If you want to hear more of me talking, I'll be talking with later this afternoon to talk about student visa applications. So if you are interested to know more about the process, do sign up, and yeah, see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Etty. So just to touch on the US app, so what is you're going to have it on your website, or how can people register?
Okay, so you can go to US app's Facebook account, or I can give you the link now. We're using this platform Hopin for this virtual workshop. So if anyone would like to join, you can go to Hopin, HOPIN.TO.
HOPIN.TO. I'm just writing it in the text box for everybody.
And then /events /US apps USAPPS -2020.
Okay, so I've put it on the group chat for everybody. So if you want to log into
or later, I can give you the full link on the group chat. Group chat.
That would be great.
Yeah, there will be a class simulation, grad school panel, and tomorrow they will also have virtual college fair. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a busy weekend for me.
Yes, it is. It's busy. It doesn't get any easier. And we used to enjoy having hosting the US app at Taylor's as well. But yeah, we used to have big groups and it was great fun. So hopefully next year you'll be back.
They're supposed to do it in Taylor's again this year. But
yes. Yeah. Thanks, Etty, for all that information. So let's move on to our speakers. If we can have, maybe we'll start with Jackson. Jackson, do you want to start with, tell us a bit about Nebraska and the university and anything you'd like to share?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Prima. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening to everybody. I'm going to have a couple slides that I'll run through really quickly just to give a visual illustration for some of the things I'm talking about for the University of Nebraska. First and foremost, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Malaysian experience here at the university. We have really a long history of having Malaysian students here at the university. I did quite a bit of research to try to dig up some of these numbers, and the earliest data I could find was in 1998. We had almost 200 Malaysian students on campus, and have continued having 200 to 300 Malaysians on campus every year since then. And so we have a really just very strong connection with Malaysian students, even going back before 1998, but I don't think we kept data at that point.
1998 must have been the Taylor's ADP ones, because we started in 1996.
Oh, perfect. Maybe some of them were Taylor students. I looked at some of the most popular majors, and I think this probably tracks with the students on this call, what some of you are hopefully interested in. Actuarial science is far and away our most popular program for Malaysian students to apply, but you also can see quite a bit here of mechanical engineering, computer science, some of the STEM fields and the business fields. So quite a bit of variety. For students on campus, the Malaysian students really have a reputation here at Nebraska for being leaders, not just in the classroom, certainly they are, but also in research programs, orientation for new students arriving here at the university, and campus organizations. The most popular one is the Nebraska University Malaysian Student Association. Pulled a couple of their posters just from this last academic year. Malaysian night I went to was amazing. Was able to get a seat at a table there. They celebrate Chinese New Year.
Enjoyed the food.
Yes, absolutely. You can see on there, kind of down at the bottom of the Chinese New Year, free boba and lion dancing. So it's really, there's a lot of perks there. And then also Diwali night. So it's really just an inclusive organization for NUMSA. And so really excited to have just such a strong history of Malaysian students at Nebraska. Got a visual here of what the center of campus looks like. We're very spread out and green, lots of trees. We'll have maybe a little bit more distance between some of the students here in the fall as we adapt to the coronavirus and make sure all of our students and staff are safe. But that's just to give you a sense of what the campus looks like. For those of you that aren't experts in American geography, I've included a map of the United States, Nebraska highlighted in red. And actually some of our colleagues are also on here. So Chelsea and Jenny up in the Twin Cities of Minnesota at the top of the map. Dang in the University of Wyoming. I don't think I marked the city for you guys, but one state to the to the northwest. As you can see, we're right in the middle of the United States. We really talk about a few major things with a lot of our students, thinking about academics, the city of Lincoln, the success of our alumni, and just the financial prospects for students coming to the University of Nebraska. Couple just quick data points, right? Some of my favorite parts of this one is the variety. We talked about already some of the most popular majors for Malaysian students, but we have 150 options overall, so quite a bit of variety. We're a comprehensive university. We're also very diverse in our enrollment. You can see there about 3,300 of our students are international. They represent 135 different countries. We saw the Malaysian enrollment numbers already, but you can see again, very, very diverse. Students from all over the world come to study here at Nebraska. We're very involved on campus, right? We talked about NUMSA, but outside of some of those organizations, outside of the Malaysian Student Association, we have about 500 clubs and organizations on campus. The Malaysian Student Association is one, but we have a group for just about every other international student group, sports clubs, academic organizations. And so the life on campus is very, very vibrant, very, very diverse. We're located in the city of Lincoln. We're the capital city of the state of Nebraska. So just by being the capital, there's quite a bit of government business that drives the city. But also as a college town, we have hundreds of restaurants, coffee shops, entertainment. Some of the most popular things to do in Lincoln are attending sporting events. The university sports teams are extremely popular here in the city and the state of Nebraska. And also live music. You can see some of the artists that have performed here in Lincoln just in the past few years. Lincoln is also, I think, is well known for a lot of our international students as having a low cost of living. It's just not that expensive to live here in Nebraska. And so for students that are cost conscious about tuition, certainly we're able to accommodate that, but also just the cost of living in the city is very, very affordable. Talked about, it's a good segue into cost. We're very, very generous with our scholarships for international students. You can see here, these scholarships are just for international students. As an American citizen, I could not get one of these scholarships. They're just for international students. And typically our Malaysian students are, because of the high academic quality coming out of, for students coming out of places like Taylor's, most of our Malaysian students are in the middle to upper range of those scholarships, usually earning kind of $8,000 to $15,000 a year in merit scholarships. So we're very excited about having such a quality of student on campus. And the last thing I'll mention is Nebraska is known as being very welcoming, friendly, warm, engaging. Strangers will say hi to you on the street. It's just the kind of place where people are really friendly. We demonstrate that by our international welcome team. So we hire, the university, my office, hires students international students that will pick you up from the airport. You can see down the bottom right, pick you up from the airport with signs that say, Selamat datang, welcome to Nebraska, whatever. And then make sure you get to your dorm correctly, that you figure out how to navigate campus, that you get a phone and a bank account and all this stuff. So we really try to keep personalized. Exactly. And I am out of breath, so I think that wraps up my overview of the University of Nebraska. I'm certainly excited to continue this conversation with any students that are interested in learning more about Nebraska. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jackson. That was really interesting, and it's nice that it's situated right in the hustle and bustle of the capital and the city, and you know, for students who would like that to be more in central located, I think, you know, because there's a lot of activities, a lot of things to do. Just a quick question, can students work around the city since they're so centralized?
That's a great question, Prima. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of my American colleagues here, where students, international students are more than, you know, they're able and welcome to have a job on campus. You can work 20 hours per week on campus, but students are not permitted on a student visa to have a job in the city. They're not permitted to have a job off campus. It is not allowed within the terms of the student visa. So if any students are interested in that, maybe have a job on campus instead of off campus.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Jackson. That was really informative. Maybe we'll move on to Minnesota Twin Cities. We have Chelsea and Jenny. Hi.
Hi, Chelsea's going to start us off today.
Okay, great.
Sure am. Oh, I'm unable to share my screen right now. Let me give it a go. I think we're just going to have to do this one verbally. I can't share my screen as a certain setting. So Jenny and I are with the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Like our colleagues on this call, it's a large public research university. We're located in the urban setting of Minneapolis-St. Paul, and the university is actually located in downtown Minneapolis. So it's not rural, it's not a college town. You are literally in the city with a new metro light rail going right through the center of campus. And we think that's great for students. We want you to access everything that the Twin Cities has to offer, which includes 18 Fortune 500 companies headquartered 7 minutes away from campus. Those companies are Target, 3M, Boston Scientific, Medtronic. Certainly they lean towards engineering, which is quite a high ranked program at Minnesota, but actually those businesses want to see students come do internships in all fields. So whether you're interested in business and accounting, you're a humanities student, life sciences, natural sciences, there could be a place for you to do research on campus or to take an internship off campus. Minnesota also offers scholarships to international students. We have both academic merit-based scholarships, which we look at when we evaluate your transcript for admission. We also can offer need-based scholarships for international students. So if you had a financial need of about $5,000, Minnesota could actually offer that kind of award to an international student. You're considered automatically for one of the academic merit-based scholarships. If you'd like one of the need scholarships for consideration, you have to submit an additional application that has nothing to do with your admission to the university. Minnesota is a need-blind school, so you could be admitted based off your academics while also submitting a need-based scholarship. For details on how to apply, I'm going to turn it over to our wizard, Jenny Mealy, to walk us through the application.
Sure. Thank you, Chelsea. Hi, folks. Thank you so much for inviting us and allowing us to be here today. We have a number of Malaysian students on campus, and we are also so very happy to host them and have them be a really important part of our campus life as well. So my job at the university is I work with admissions. Chelsea is recruiting, so she's talking to students about interests, and then I'm working with students as they go through the application process. So our goal is to make this process as easy and as smooth as we can for students.
Yes,
as possible. And one of the things that we really appreciate about ADP programs, especially Taylor's, is how prepared students are to have a better idea of sort of the expectations of the educational system in the US and you know, how things function differently, because they certainly do in different parts of the world. While we certainly don't want the world to function all the same, I think having that familiarity is certainly a benefit to students who come through these types of programs. Students who've come through Taylor's have been very successful at the university. Chelsea touched upon some of our programs that we have, engineering certainly, chemical engineering, and some of our other programs. We just added a, what is it, data sciences program, correct, Chelsea? And our business programs are also quite outstanding. The other thing that we appreciate about Taylor's is that students are getting the preparation and the courses they need to facilitate that smooth application and transition process to the university. So we are very excited, again, about having Malaysian students at the University of Minnesota. The other little plug I want to give is, as we've talked about the pandemic a little bit, the University of Minnesota has very much shown their commitment to students, our international students in particular, during these times. For example, we kept all of our housing and food services were available for students who, elected to stay on campus. Health services were available, support services, counseling, everything to support student success during these very, difficult times for students. And I see that Chelsea also put up a little plug to, if you wanted to speak to a current student at the University of Minnesota, there's a nice connection there. So I think that will wrap it up, and we'll go on and we'll have questions later. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. So just to ask you, since you mentioned that, do you have a lot of students still on campus at this time?
That's a very good question. It's a little hard to answer. Most of us are working from home, but I was on campus today and I did see a few students. Summer's always a little quieter. I don't know if Chelsea knows, but I know that we do have some students still on campus, and that we do look forward to having some students, if they choose, to be on campus this fall as well. We will be open with classes in varying modalities, as you can imagine.
Yes.
Remote, online, hybrid, asynchronous, synchronous, those types of options for students. We just want to make sure we have a lot of great options for them.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. I think we're all going through that same path as well. Even at Taylor's ADP, what we're doing is we're doing sort of a blended mode, hybrid mode, because we also have a lot of international students where borders may not be open and may not be able to come back. And we have the ones who are here. So yeah, it's just a huge experiment, but we did really well in March when our semester was going on and the lockdown started. So we've gained a lot more skills and a lot more platforms. So I think August will be a very good semester to try out all these ways. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, so maybe we'll move on to Daing. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. Again, selamat pagi. I'm Daing Sofian Nasir. I'm the representative today from the University of Wyoming. I'm an assistant director here at the Office of International Students and Scholars. And my primary job is to recruit international students for the University of Wyoming. So I'm a one-person office, a little bit different from Minnesota and also Nebraska. There are two bigger schools. My school is a little bit smaller. We're mid-size, around 13,000 students only. So with that said, I'm also a Malaysian. I'm also like you guys, most of you guys, I went through the same process. I enrolled into an ADP program in KL. It was fantastic. It was the best decision in my life I had attended a different college before that, and it was really messy. And when I got into ADP, it was really, really seamless. I didn't have Prima at that time, but my Prima and actually Dr. Anilita, who's on the call right now, she was my mentor back in the day. So they made it so seamless and easy for us to go through all the courses at the ADP program, and also during the transfer process as well. So for me, it was just going to class and then getting my ticket to the US. And then the school that I attended to received me very easily with open arms. So it's such a great opportunity for Malaysians and also international students that want to attend ADP at Taylor's, because it's one of the most top programs at the institution. So
thanks, Dan.
With that, yeah, you're welcome. So
you want to tell us a bit about Wyoming and your main programs and where Malaysian students transfer into?
Absolutely. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah. The cowboy.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our mascot. When you transfer here, you'll be called a cowboy, regardless of, gender. So everyone is a cowboy here. Our alums are called cowboys. And we are in the city of Laramie in Wyoming. So. All right. So we are the flagship institution of the state. Okay, that means we're the only university in the state. That means when you transfer to the University of Wyoming, all eyes are on you guys. It's a really great opportunity for you to shine at the University of Wyoming. We have great programs in every major under the sun, from music all the way to petroleum engineering. And with that said, we are 1 out of 18 schools in the US that offer petroleum engineering. And then having that program, we also have other programs that are also heavily influenced by the energy industry, such as MBAs in energy as well. So a little bit of the background of what Laramie, Wyoming looks like. We are in the middle of 2 main ranges, which is the Snowy ranges and also Vidavoo, okay? And these are some of just the numbers that we have that we're proud of. Right now, I only have 5 Malaysian students right now, and they're the best students I have because I'm Malaysian.
Wow.
So yeah. And they're all ADP transfers, guys. So
Oh, great.
there's a reason why they transferred here, because the Malaysian ringgit goes a long way in Laramie, Wyoming. Like I said before this, we're a little bit different. We're not in the city. We're in the mountains. We're in the Rocky Mountains. And with that said, we also have access to 3 big cities, which is Fort Collins, Cheyenne, and also Denver. So it's an all-American college town, very affordable, and our tuition rates are just amazing. We're under $10,000 per semester, and that's before scholarships. So it's a great deal for Malaysian students, and also with the fact that cost of living is relatively very affordable as well. So, all right. So like I said, we have all the majors under this. So we are a comprehensive university, flagship, full land grant institution. That means we highly cherish access to all students. Not to only Wyoming students, but also to international students as well. So, all right. So I have a little bit different from my friends. I have testimonials from some of our students. And the first student that I want to show you guys is from Aina. Aina is actually from Malaysia. She's from KL, and she told me that she lives right in nearby Ampang, if you guys are very familiar with KL. So let me play her video real quick.
I chose to study at the University of Wyoming because I think that the university has the most professional resources. And that's not just in the course materials that you learn, but it's also in terms of having the most professional faculty and staff on campus. I'm a communication student, and I like how my professors are very approachable and very accessible. And it's not just in terms of figuring out how to do my homework. My professors are very helpful at helping me figuring out what I'm going to do after I'm done with my education at the University of Wyoming. What I like most about being here in Laramie is that I'm very close to nature, and I can just take a few minutes drive to be at the nearest nature park where I can be away from the busy life in town. My best advice to future students is to join as many free events as you can. At the University of Wyoming, there are so many free events that's just for students, where you can get good prizes, get free food, free stuff, and you can also get good entertainment.
All right.
So free is key for students' life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
I remember those days.
I miss those days.
Yes, where anything was free.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah, this is our favorite video. right. Let's see what the next slide is. Okay, so we offer.
Ask you, because I saw there about the NACC sports scholarship.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get quite a lot of sports scholars in Taylor's, a lot of national players and sportsmen and sportswomen. So I just want to know, and also since Wyoming is so sort of open out to nature and so rustic and, you know, with a lot of activities, what are the sports, how would somebody go about getting a sports scholarship or applying for one?
Okay, so all international students that are seeking sports scholarships will have to go through me. So send me an email, or they can find information on the website. But just because those folks are heavily recruiting all around the world, I'm your guide to go to in terms of if you're an international student. So talk to me, send me your videos, tell me about yourself, and then we'll get you connected to the department, right? And then we have a ton of scholarships for, I feel like if it's for sportsmen, it's typically freshman students, right? Yeah, freshman students. And even if you're not a freshman.
Or even transfer.
What was that?
Or even for transfers.
For transfer, yeah. Even for transfers, we have scholarships as well. So, I mean, well, if you're a sportsman at the University of Wyoming, it's a full ride. So you don't have to worry about living expenses and tuition and all that. But even if you're not a sports scholar, and you apply for our scholarships, it's still a good deal for you guys. So.
Okay, great.
And then I think that's it from me. If you have any questions, I'm gonna share my information. I'm gonna share our Facebook information, our Instagram information, our Twitter information. I also have put already my WhatsApp information. So if you guys need to get a hold of me, I'm your Malaysian connection here in the Rocky Mountains, guys. So it was a pleasure talking to everyone. So
thank you. Dang. Thanks, Dang. Dang, can I just also ask you, there's a question here on the group chat. How is student life in Wyoming?
Student life is really amazing. Like Aina said just now, you know, she can walk to class and then have a class the whole day and then walk back home and then decide if she wants to go out to the mountains, if she's had a rough day at the labs, or, you know, just been busy, she can go out to the mountains. It's very, very nearby. There's diverse terrain that you can choose from if you want to go to the rocks or if you want to go to where the snowies are at. The snowies, there's a reason why it's called the snowies, because it snows all year round. There's even snow there right now.
Oh my God.
We're in a valley. So it's a really nice and welcoming environment for students. The community is very, very open and very welcoming as well. So I feel like I had come to University of Wyoming because before this I worked in oil and gas myself, and then the University of Wyoming was one of our clients. I worked for Saudi Aramco in Houston. I used to sponsor students all over the US and Canada, and then so we were very, very close friends with the University of Wyoming, and we knew the quality of the education because in that capacity, I used to sponsor students from Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, so I've seen the whole breadth of international students coming to the University of Wyoming, and then that's how I started my career here.
Great. So hopefully you'll get more Malaysian students.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks, Dai. Samantha, good evening.
Hi.
Hey.
I have some slides. I will attempt to share my screen and we'll see if we can go 3 for 4 today.
I'm sure we will.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So just to give some background on the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we are located about 2 hours north of Chicago, Illinois. We're in the Midwestern part of the United States. The city of Madison itself is the capital of Wisconsin. It's about 250,000 people. The university is located kind of right downtown in the middle of the city. As you can see here, this is a nice aerial shot of part of campus, and it really flows right downtown into the center of the city. But because we're surrounded by 2 lakes, run an isthmus, we have hundreds of miles of hiking and biking trails. So you can really get the best of both worlds. It's very much a college town. If students want amenities, restaurants, shops, theaters, tons of stuff to do. But if you don't want to see anybody at all, you can go hang out by the lake, sail, walk along the lakeshore path. So it's definitely a very beautiful college town. The university itself are a large public comprehensive research institution. We have about 125 majors across 8 schools and colleges. So as Jackson pointed out before, many of those similar engineering and business majors are majors that we often see from Malaysian students, but we do often get, humanities majors as well, social sciences, psychology, sociology, the gamut. The world is at your feet kind of here at UW-Madison. Yeah. And we are known for our research. We have over $1 billion of research expenditures each year. So students who come in as freshmen or transfer can definitely come in and research in an undergraduate position on campus. They don't have to be a graduate student, and there's tons of different things to get involved in. We are Division I NCAA sports, so if you want to go watch sports, when hopefully you can do that. I don't know what this fall will look like. Yeah. We'll see. That opportunity is available. Arts and culture is huge in the city of Madison, definitely a hub for that in the state of Wisconsin, and with Chicago being so close, students can bus easily back and forth to Chicago, especially for as far as like transportation goes to the airport and stuff, because O'Hare is an international airport. Yeah. What else was I going to say with that? We have 1,000 student organizations. I'll talk a little bit about the Malaysian student organization on campus, but really I've never heard of a student that couldn't find something that they wanted to be involved in on this campus. Only once in my life have I been asked about a group that we didn't have, and it was parkour. And at that time I had no idea what parkour was. I honestly thought it was a board game, and I was like, I don't know. I found out it was jumping on buildings. I'm like, okay, I get why we don't have that. But yeah, so our Malaysian students definitely find lots of success here at UW-Madison.
What's the size of the population, student population?
Student population, undergrads, it's about 30,000. So it is a larger university. We bring in about 7,000 new freshmen, and we're growing each year.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that you have the temperatures from -9 right up to 16.
Yeah, it definitely
very important to Malaysian students.
We get that question a lot, like, will I be cold in the winter? I'm like, well, what's your definition of cold? You'll be colder than you are in Malaysia, I'm sure. But I like to say you get a whole new wardrobe you've never had. You get boots, you get a jacket, you get sweaters. Girls tend to like that. Guys are kind of like, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, cool. You know, get to have a whole new thing that you've never had, and lots of new activities you probably have never experienced before, like skiing and snowboarding and sledding. So
yeah. And it seems quite ideal as well that it's close enough to Chicago and the big cities, but you're not sort of distracted so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can do your studies.
Great. For sure. This is kind of some information for people who might already have some background about the university as a whole, but just for campus updates for 2021. For students who might want to find out more information, kind of what we're doing for fall semester, we do have a smart restart plan. The links are listed here. We really have no idea what spring looks like yet. I get that question a lot, especially for transfer students who are thinking about coming in at spring. I wish I could tell you, we have no idea. We're still figuring out what fall will look like. But for right now, for fall, we're doing a hybrid model where you'll have online classes as well as in-person classes. If students want a full online set of coursework, they can do that right now. If they want to mix, if they're able to get here, we can offer a mix as well. And that'll last up through Thanksgiving, which is kind of the end of November here. And then after that, students will go fully online for about the last 10 days of classes and finals. We're following CDC guidelines with everything we're doing on campus. There will be free testing for all students, staff, and faculty at any point in time if they want it. Students are required to wear masks in all public buildings on campus, and right now in the state of Wisconsin through at least September. Residence halls will have strict capacities. Students are only allowed to bring in 1 guest, and there will be more cleaning done across all the public facilities. So the university has made a very strong and comprehensive effort with how we're gonna work with COVID-19 through the fall. As far as applying to the university, we are test optional this year for ACT and SAT, and we're now accepting Duolingo as well as TOEFL or IELTS for proof of English proficiency. And we do have 4 new exciting majors, 2 of which I think are really awesome for students, particularly for Taylors, because we see lots of students who are interested in computer science or computer engineering. Data science is a new major.
Yeah.
brand new school on campus. It's the School of Computer Science, Data Science, and Statistics, just fully developed and dedicated faculty towards that. That'll be housed in our College of Letters and Science.
Even at the Taylor's ADP, the biggest, the largest student populations are for business and engineering, but we see a great growth in computer science, data analysis, analytics, data mining. So that's, I think, something that's really growing. So it's great that it's the same thing reflected in the US as well.
Yep. And the other one that I want to touch on specifically is the supply chain management that's housed in our School of Business. Very popular kind of area of study right now. It was a certificate or a minor on campus and a master's program. So they've decided to make it an undergraduate program as well, just due to popularity and kind of business demand. So students should definitely check that out as well. And then the two kind of global health and biology majors. Biology is the #1 major on our campus right now at UW-Madison. And computer science is in the top 5. Psychology, political science are round that out as well for top 5 majors at UW.
Oh, great.
And so just to talk about Malaysian students at UW-Madison, so we've had increasing numbers of application from Malaysian students over the past 3 years, which is great. I was able to visit Taylor's a couple years ago and spoke with some really fantastic students. So we're always really excited to see applications from Taylor's and from Malaysian students in general, very strong academics. We have a very strong admit rate for Taylor students. For the University of Wisconsin as a whole, we're about a 50% admit rate for students who apply. But this last year for Taylor's, we were just under 80%. So we really recognize that Taylor's has a strong prep program, and we see very strong students coming out of Taylor's.
Yeah.
Taylor's to UW has great credit transfer as well, specifically with the pathway programs. Nearly all the classes.
Sam, do you want to just open, are you talking from the next slide? Because we can't really see it.
Oh, which one? The Malaysian one?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
No. We just see a full Word document, I think.
Oh.
Or the slide. Go into slide mode maybe. Yeah. No, that's the third one, I think.
This one?
Yeah, that's the second one. Yeah, go back. I think you're still on the second. Are you on this side?
No.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's better.
Are we good?
Because it was really tiny.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. I wanted to make sure everybody could see this beautiful photo of Lisa.
Oh,
wow. Which I'll get to Lisa. But the pathway program is very great. Basically is what I'm saying. Transfer students will come in with mostly direct equivalent classes to what they've been taking at Taylor's. We do have student organizations. The Malaysian Student Association is very big on campus. The photo that you can see down below is of one of the events they held on campus in January. Definitely check out their Facebook. They're very active as a whole on campus. And we do have a Wisconsin International Students Association that's very strong as well. To highlight specific Malaysian students and a Taylor's alum, we do have Lisa Kamal here. She was our commencement speaker for winter 2019, and she absolutely killed it. She was incredible. She went viral in Malaysia, had a wonderful speech about being an international student on campus, and quoted part of the musical Hamilton, and actually had Lin-Manuel Miranda retweet her, which was like super awesome. But yeah, definitely a great success story. And then just also for any students who have questions, you can definitely send us an email to admissions. My email is on there, as well as we have a new staff member who's taking over Southeast Asia and Malaysia. His name's Jared, so any questions can go to Jared as well. So that's all I have.
great. Thanks, Em. Okay, so let me just go through. We have a question here. Maybe I can ask you, Sam, from a student who is in year 9 and would want to transfer to the US. What would he need? What would he need to do to build his CV in order to create a good application entry?
Yeah, so if you're first starting out in high school, I would say definitely first and foremost focus on your academics. Definitely take time and think about how you can challenge yourself potentially in your classes, focus on academics and good grades. Also find something that you really want to get involved in. For us at UW, engagement. We want to see students who are engaged and involved all throughout high school and into Taylor's. And that can look a lot of different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in 10 different organizations and the president of all of them and whatnot. Find a couple of things that you really can enjoy and stick with it and pursue your passions. And I think those are the biggest things to start off with, and start exploring like you're already doing now. Like you're obviously in this webinar, that's great. Explore universities. There's a lot in the US and not all of the universities are the same. So you can't assume that just because one person does it one way that we all do it the same. So I'll leave the rest to my other colleagues who might want to step in.
Jenny, you want to share? What are your thoughts on an application entry? I mean, what sort of sets them apart? I mean, academics is academic. I mean, you can, of course, achieve the highest CGPA, but besides that, is it community service? Is it, leadership? Is it, what are the other skills that universities look for in entry?
This is a question that students always have, and we totally get it because they want to know how to present their best self, right?
Yeah.
I will say, and I have to tag on to what Sam said, is that we review holistically. We divide our factors into two different sort of camps. And the first is academic. So yes, academics is of primary importance. Then we call the rest of them context factors. And really, other than academics, that's everything else about you. So what you are gonna have for context factors are gonna depend upon who you are, what you want to do, what you're interested in, what your life circumstances are. So it's hard for me to direct students to say you should do this or you shouldn't do this because everybody's situation is different. So what you want to do in building your CV is really, like I said, present who you are. I think Diane said your authentic self. And that's what we'd like to hear from students is, what they have thought of, what they are working towards, and what has been shaping their life and what they're looking forward to.
Jackson, anything to add? Nebraska, what do you look for when you are accepting applications?
Yeah, Nebraska operates our admissions a little bit different than some of my colleagues at Minnesota and Wisconsin, where we're very, very focused on the academics. And like Jenny mentioned, the context of are you involved in student organizations? Do you have leadership? Do you do community service? Really is not a major factor for us. We're very focused on the academics. I would say though, the students that are most successful at places like the University of Nebraska and other larger research universities like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Wyoming is when students can also identify maybe a problem that they want to solve in the world or something that they want to work on, that then connects them really well into research especially, but also career advising. And so for a student to come to one of our universities and be admitted for maybe biology is great and certainly a commendable achievement. But I think I would encourage that student to also consider, what do you want to do with your biology degree and how can the universities help connect you to the type of research or career that develops a cure for some disease, right? And I think that's a better way to navigate through these universities because we're fundamentally, with research, we are solving problems, right? And so students that can identify problems are very, very successful. That can identify the problem that they want to solve are very successful at universities like ours.
Thanks. Thanks, Jackson. Eti, anything you want to add? I mean, you coordinate a lot of US app workshops and what are some of the things that you point out during these workshops?
I think we always mention, the admission to US universities or colleges are very holistic. So, we hear from our colleagues here, just be your true self, your authentic true self. And I mentioned this in the chat box. Actually, we host webinars, and I think just recently we host a webinar on writing a winning personal statement. And we also, you can also go to our advisors to help with, essay checking, business statement checking. So we do that, and we assist students to, to come up with a really good business statement that reflect their true self. Because I think from Malaysian, we tend to put like, our academic achievements, I achieved this, and, and I think what admission officers really want to see is, for them to present their true self in the business statement, because everything else is already in the application. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Etty. Okay, so we have a few questions that has been posed by the participants today. So if we can just quickly go around, I will try to answer as many as questions that we have today. So the first one is, will the COVID-19 affect heavily on the transfer pathways? Jackson, you want to start? And then we'll just go on to everybody else.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I think Sam captured it really well, that we are, there's a lot that we don't know right now, and we want to be transparent with what we are certain about, what we're working on, and what we really have no idea about.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of parts of the transfer pathway that will not be impacted by COVID. So can you still do an application? Yes. Can you still talk to us as we help you through that process? Yes. Can you still work with EducationUSA? Yes. Will your classes still transfer? Are we still reviewing that for credit? Absolutely. But I think all of you are aware of some of the other problems that international students are facing, where it's difficult to get a visa, it's difficult to get a plane ticket. There are restrictions, health-based restrictions here in the United States, where you maybe have to quarantine for 2 weeks upon arriving. Your experience will be different on campus than it would be 3 years ago. So I think there are many things that we know, there are many things that we don't know. And so through it all, we want to be a resource for all of you students and parents. If there are any questions, myself, Dang, Sam, Chelsea, and Jenny, we're experts in American education and not just on our university. So we're happy to be as much of an advisor as possible. And certainly, I can't praise Etty and EducationUSA's work enough. They're a fantastic resource that really can speak well to the broadly American experience in education.
Thanks, Jackson. Yeah, it seems like it's touch and go every semester with the regulations moving, changing by the day, really. So even here, we're going in the online mode, and we're looking at it for fall, for a blended module, and then so I think the transfer. What I'm hearing is with the transfer, I mean, within 2 years, I think things would settle a bit more, and there would be a better idea with the changes. Sam, any thoughts on the impact of transfers from COVID?
No, I think Jackson covered it really well, that it's just really hard to gauge.
Yeah.
I think the idea of whether or not students will physically be able to engage on our campuses for spring, and truly no idea what next fall will be like. But as mentioned, the application process is still very much staying the same for us, other than we are taking into account the fact that COVID has now been with us for close to a year in some places, or less.
Yeah.
And so students have been dealing with this in their academics, and it's affected parts of their lives. So when we're looking at applications, because we use a holistic review, we're definitely taking that into account with academics, with involvement. I'm sure we'll see it in essays. And so for that part of it, that's definitely something that we're thinking about with trends. I mean, what we might see with grades and coursework, etc.
Yes. Interesting. Jenny and Chelsea, anything to add about transfer pathways with COVID?
I'll jump in real quick, and then I'll let Chelsea add if she'd like. One of the things I think we've added is a question about the impact of COVID-19. So we encourage students to make a statement about how has this affected you. And it could be in any number of different ways. Affected doesn't always have to be negative.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep a positive spin on all this stuff that's going on, and that with great change comes great opportunity. Flexibility and adaptability, I think, have become everybody's bywords. But
yes, and resilience,
outside the box, and about possibilities. So we just encourage students to do that. And I don't know if Chelsea has anything to add.
Patsy?
No, I think that Jenny, Jackson, Sam really covered it.
Yeah. So we're pulling through all over the world. I mean, and we've seen these things even in Australia and Canada, and opening and shutting, and things like that. Dying, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if I can give some advice to Malaysian students is that keep the passion up, keep the spirit up. Don't compromise your dreams with other options, because being advocates for U.S. education, the sky is the limit. You've seen what UW-Madison just showed about Lisa. I remember that day when Lisa went viral in KL. I was so proud of her. So this is what American education brings to us Malaysians in KL and in building our country, guys, and also being a forerunner in the Southeast Asian region. I feel like we got this going. So with that said, my answer to that is also so you want to Malaysian students are known for being resilient, right? So you don't see this as an obstacle, but just a little bit more challenges that are coming through. And the biggest challenge right now as an international student advisor is getting your visa. Okay, so continue those dreams in transferring and work with your institutions to transfer those credits. Make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, the cost of living, how much you're going to get in terms of scholarships and all that. Get all that information and work on your visa. What the University of Wyoming is doing to help all international students and all students is that we're investing $46 million into making sure that our campus is safe for students to come back for the fall and for future semesters. So what we're doing is we're renovating dorms into single occupancy living. We're renovating dining spaces so that people can social distance within themselves. And also we're investing a lot in testing as well. So we're taking this very, very seriously. And don't believe the news, guys. The news is an accelerated version of what's going on in the US. All my team members here in the US, we live in amazing cities that have a lot to offer. Our campuses are mostly highly cognizant of the pandemic that's going on. And we're almost all wearing masks and making sure that our campus communities are safe. So don't get scared about transferring. Keep that momentum going and continue to communicate to your universities. And if anything, it's an opportunity right now to ask those questions. We're available online all day, every day. It's almost midnight for some of us, but we're still here for you guys.
Thanks, Dang. Thank you for the reassurance from all of you. I mean, for students, because and even some parents, sometimes it's very worrying, So we have a question as well on how to apply for student visa and planning to join for spring semester. So I think Etty, you covered that already, and you've also put the link in. So anybody who's interested out there, you can join the Education USA webinar this afternoon. And you can drop a line. Yeah, Etty?
If I may add, because this is for spring, right? The question is for spring.
Yeah.
I just want to let everyone know the current policy is, for hybrid mode and for hybrid and physical classes mode, students can still apply for visa. So right now, visa services has been resumed for certain non-immigrant visa, and that is F1 visa. So for those who are going for fall, for hybrid and in-person class, they can actually request for emergency appointment, and my colleagues over at Consular will try their best to slot as many appointments as possible. So they are prioritizing fall students first, but you can also apply for visa if you're going for spring and pick a suitable date for you.
Yeah. Oh, great. That's fantastic news, Etty, because you can see the embassy is all working very hard to accommodate all these
yes, definitely.
All these requests.
Prioritizing students. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Etty. So how Do I know if the subjects I took in my current university is accepted for credit transfer and if they will be transferred to the US university? That's the next question.
Prima, I can take this one, at least for Nebraska, and certainly would invite my colleagues from other American universities to speak to it. For us in Nebraska, we keep track of every student and when they transfer credit, and we just kind of write it all down and we put it on our website. So I'm going to put that in the link in our chat specifically for tailors. And so students, you can just compare your transcript to the list on our website and see all of the stuff that transfers, at least to Nebraska. I'm sure my colleagues have other policies and other ways of doing it, but for us, we just put it on our website. So it's pretty straightforward.
Great. And they can also, of course, check with their own university placement office. Like in Taylor's, we have our own placement office. So you can check and all the equivalencies are done. Chelsea, anything to add for Minnesota on how else students can check the transferability?
I'll actually pass it to Jenny Mealy. She's our authority on transferring credit. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. So sort of similar to what Jackson said at the University of Minnesota, I just chatted a link to, we have a partial listing of our tailors transfers, and the College of Science and Engineering has a link to more of the technical courses and how they transfer. We are working to have a system where we will actually have more information available to students so they can see those transfer courses and how they will directly apply at the University of Minnesota. So you can see some of them now. You can also contact the Office of Admissions, and we'd be happy to share some more information while we're in the process of getting this information up and running.
Great. Thanks. Diane?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jenny. For us at the University of Wyoming, just because of the history, we've had a lot of ADP students come through our pipeline of Malaysian students in the past. So that's what we're going to do in terms of moving forward. We're going to build a website in terms of that and a link where students can go in and look at what credits they can transfer and all that. But until we get there, but I mean, it's not going to be that far away. I'm building it as we speak right now and working with Prima and Dr. Anindita in championing that for Malaysian students. So we're working on that right now. And then in the meantime, if you know, if things, you know, you worry about courses and you have an immediate question, I'm happy to answer this question on behalf of our admissions.
Okay, great. So you will do it case by case and just
exactly.
see that. Great. Thanks, Diane. All right, one more question. How can a law graduate in Malaysia pursue a second degree or master's in computer science or engineering in the US? Interesting. Real shift in careers from law to wanting to do. So I assume the participant has already a degree. So this is just to pursue either another degree or a master's in...
Prima, I can answer that question.
Computer science or engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, for a law graduate in Malaysia to do a second bachelor's in computer science, that's the part of the question that I'm going to answer, is we will accept that application as a second bachelor's degree applicant. And then in the admission letter, we'll probably have some of the prerequisites that you will have to do, like some of the math classes and pre-computer science classes and all that. And then it will be up to the student to get to whether they wanted to do those prereqs and do a second bachelor's or not. So pretty much straightforward at the University of Wyoming.
Oh, great.
Yes, there is a way to do it.
Sam, any idea on that? Would there be exemption to credits and things in Minnesota? Sorry, in Wisconsin?
Minnesota and Wisconsin are very close. I'm told. Being compared, gopher and a badger are very similar animals. So
yes, gopher and badger.
I haven't seen any in real life anywhere, but only at the zoo. So. Yeah, I honestly don't have a great answer for that, just because of the specific academics related with undergraduate as well, students would have to check out the specific department websites.
Yeah.
Because we don't have as many specific pathway programs like that here. So
okay, so the participant can really, I mean, the person asking this question can actually just write into the admissions and find out what the process and what the equivalencies are.
yep.
That would be the best. But generally, would you require, I think the essence is the change of field. So would you require a similar field, like if he already has a law degree, would you accept somebody with a law degree to go into your computer science masters? I think that's the essence of the question.
We got this typically from.
It again would depend on the level of what the law degree is and the program that they're trying to come to at our university. It's very specific. So they'd eventually want to work with the specific departments, I think, because if you already have a law degree, I don't know what you would, it would depend with what you would come in with a bachelor's or not. Yeah. They would want, they can always write to us and write to admissions and we can put them in direction to the right people, especially talking with their specific interests and individual situation.
Great.
Sure, and so we would do the same thing. In this case, you know, we would really try to have the student both work with graduate school and undergraduate to see what the best pathway might be for them for pursuing either a master's or a second undergraduate degree. Having a law degree doesn't preclude them from getting a computer science degree. We would just have to look at, again, what courses have already been met and what they would need to do in order to obtain that second degree.
Great. Thank you. And the most popular question, how is it possible to get a scholarship in the US? So I saved the best for last so we can expand a bit of this. So I think the main concern here is, especially for transfer students, when do they start applying for this scholarship? Can they start applying as they apply for their admission for transfer? And also, what are the types of maybe scholarships that they can apply for? So Jenny, since you're on, do you want to start off?
Sure, I'm actually going to ask Chelsea if she would like to answer this question. She talks a lot about scholarships for us.
Sure. At US universities, there's a variety of different scholarships you'll find. First, I recommend that students evaluate the overall total cost of attendance and not just the tuition fee structure, but to see what are they really looking at paying. Yeah, and how flexible is it? Is this a university that would require students to live on campus? Are they able to find accommodation off campus? So there'll be a lot of factors that go into the total cost of attendance. Once they understand a budget, then looking at what the universities can offer. So for example, at the University of Minnesota, we'll have academic merit scholarships. So this is similar to the admission process where we're looking at the students' transcript, grades, rigorous coursework they've taken, any test scores that they've submitted, but also looking at other factors. So what have they been involved in, leadership, community service, anything outside of the classroom. At Minnesota, we also offer need-based scholarships, and there are other US universities that will offer international students a need-based award. They may require additional documentation, whether it's about the student's family finances or some planning on how they would utilize this financial needs scholarship. And many large public research universities will offer a research scholarship for incoming students to join when they come to campus. There might be some additional caveats about what the student would be expected to complete to receive that scholarship, but there really are a number of ways that students can fund their US studies.
Great, thanks. So will they indicate this during their application, or once they get accepted, then they put that in?
Which part?
The applying for the scholarship.
It really depends on the university. Some universities will offer the scholarship at the time of admission. At Minnesota, we will look at the student for an academic scholarship at that time. In terms of a need-based scholarship, usually that will require a different application. You may want to wait until after you've been admitted to apply for it. But this all comes down to deadlines So
Yes.
encouraging students to keep track of admissions deadlines, financial aid deadlines, academic scholarship deadlines. They may not be the same, and in fact, they could be quite different. You may see a deadline December 1 to apply by, January 15th for a different scholarship. So it's quite an overwhelming task, but universities have to be fairly strict about the deadline to ensure fairness.
Yeah, definitely. Jackson in Nebraska, scholarships. I know you shared a whole list of scholarships.
Absolutely. I would echo a piece of what Chelsea just said, that it's a different process at every university. So I certainly don't want to speak for all American universities, but for us at Nebraska, every student is automatically considered for scholarships after they're admitted. So the admission triggers the scholarship review. There's no separate application required. Typically, 1 to 2 weeks after getting admission, the student will be offered a scholarship if they qualify. We also do offer, so those are university level scholarships, and many of our academic colleges or the individual departments can offer scholarships as well. So for instance, the College of Engineering or the Department of Mechanical Engineering might offer scholarships as well. So like it's been said, there's lots of different funding sources that students can earn for scholarships or for need-based aid at certain universities.
Great. Sam?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I can just go in comparison as a perfect example of everyone is different. At the University of Wisconsin,
diversity.
We do not have an automatic consideration for scholarships. So if students are interested in scholarships, after they've applied to the university, they have to go onto our specific scholarship hub and apply for scholarships. Okay. And to reiterate what Chelsea said, deadlines are important. This is something that students really, at the time of applying to a university, should start being taken into consideration, if not before, because deadlines are important. And if you know, you are looking after you've already been admitted, it might be too late in some cases at certain universities. So definitely keep that in mind, and the fact that all universities do stuff different across the US, so it can be really helpful to kind of have that all organized.
Yeah, I think that's key for students to consider, is all the different deadlines of where they want to go and meeting all the criteria. Yeah, because everybody.
I've seen students with like very detailed Excel spreadsheets with deadlines and dates and things, but whatever to keep you organized, because it's really disheartening to get a great applicant at the university who it's past our chance to even be considered for any type of scholarship. And at UW, we have very limited scholarship options for international students. So yeah, definitely sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Daing, would you like to add anything?
I do actually. So at the undergraduate level, we have a transfer scholarship that will help you with tuition. And also we have an in-house international student scholarship as well that the IPAS personnel will review and my team. So we will do that. We're a smaller institution. So we do things, it's very decentralized. We're very hands-on, we're very decentralized. Everyone, wants to, get involved and do things with students and all that. Yeah. So we have that, and then what I can be proud of with Malaysian students is all of my students that are that we have right now that are moving into the grad level this coming fall. They all have full ride scholarships. It's not scholarships in the US. We call it GRA or GTA. To go into the grad level. So they came in as undergrads, transfer undergrads, and because of the relationships that they've built, that they've been exposed to on campus and working with the campus community and their professors and all that, they've been offered a full ride scholarship to do their master's degree. One of them is actually bypassing the master's degree program. He got accepted to do his PhD directly. So we're very, very proud of, in physics. So we're very, very proud of Malaysian students. They go very far on campus. 95% of our students that move forward in pursuing their grad studies at the University of Wyoming are fully funded. If not fully funded, at least 50% at the next semester. So there's always that opportunity. We always, it's a different landscape over here because, like I said, all eyes are on you. This whole state has the ability to focus towards you, towards the 13,000 students that we have on campus, and the 600 international students that we have on campus. So we have more funding for you to pursue your education. So there's a lot of opportunities if you want to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to share that information.
Can I just add one more thing with scholarships too? That to think about scholarships too as a multi-year process, that potentially specifically at my university, maybe other universities in the US, that scholarships you might not be as available your first year on campus, potentially other opportunities will open up the older and the longer that you get to be on campus in your third or fourth years. So to consider the fact that thinking of cost of attendance across the full time that you might be at the university can be helpful as well, and knowing that more opportunities might become available the longer you're on campus.
Yeah, and I think even Taylor students have got quite a few different types of scholarships from a lot of your universities, and you also have specific scholarships just for Taylor's ADP students as well. So that's really great in cultural ambassador scholarships and merit scholarships. So there's lots of opportunities, so they can of course get in touch with you to find those things out. Okay, so we're running a bit tight on time. I was thinking maybe for 2 questions, if we could do a quick rapid fire round. Okay, so just one answer. Okay, so we have a question here from Nazrin. Is it from Nazrin? No, Nadia. Are university students required to stay on campus for the first year, or can they stay off campus? Just one answer in each of your universities.
At Minnesota, students can choose. We'll leave the option open, but you are not required to live on campus. Whether you're a transfer student or a first-year freshman, it's your choice.
Thanks. Jackson? Same, Sam?
Same at UW.
At Nebraska, transfer students are not required to live on campus, but we recommend it. Students coming from a high school directly to Nebraska are required to live for 1 year on campus.
Okay, so 1 year on campus in Nebraska.
If coming from the high school, transfer students are not.
Yeah. Diane?
Transfer students are not required to live on campus for the most parts, and students coming in from high school, in general, they are required, but because of COVID, it's first come, first serve. So if you do want to live on campus and still be able to social distance yourself, you have to book early in advance. So like our friend at Wisconsin said, observe those dates, guys. Those housing dates are important as well. So scholarship dates, admission dates, housing dates are important as well. So housing is first come, first serve. If you don't get it, that's okay too. There's a lot of other resources as well.
Yeah. And visa dates, AT will say.
Visa dates.
Okay, next question, very quickly. Are there discounts for alumni, children of alumni at your university? So if a parent has studied in Nebraska?
At Minnesota, no. There's no discount for the children of alumni.
Wisconsin, no.
No.
At Nebraska, we do have a scholarship for alumni students, but like I just put in the chat, most of our international students get one of our international scholarships instead.
Great. Okay. And the next question, admission essays. What is key that you look for in admission essays? Etty?
I think I mentioned this earlier. Just be yourself. Write more about yourself rather than all those, results, numbers.
So personal experience.
Yes, personal experience, personal anecdotes. That's what they want to see in your admission personal statement. Because, like I said earlier, it's very holistic. It doesn't just look at your academic, but as Jackson mentioned earlier, for his school, it's more like academic based when it comes to admission. So, but I would say just be your true self, and also contact us for assistance or any advice for personal statement writing.
Yeah. Do you also have somebody for you? Teresa, you want to everybody silent their mics? Yeah. Okay, Sam, one word say what stands out.
Be you.
You.
We've talked a lot about be your authentic self. Be you. Don't try to write what you want me to see. Be you.
Yeah.
And answer the prompt. Read and answer the prompt and proofread. That was like 3 different things. Sorry, guys. Continue.
Chelsea.
Make sure you're not just regurgitating your resume. We want to see something and know something that we can't find anywhere else on the application. It's actually your big chance, not to reiterate what you've already shown us in your coursework, but to know something about you that we have no other way to know besides in that essay.
Yeah. Dying.
I agree with the rest of my colleagues, but for the University of Wyoming, we don't have an essay requirement.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, one last question we have. So if somebody wants to join Taylor's ADP for 2 years and do the transfer to major in zoology. Yes? Sam?
Yes, I wrote at UW-Madison. I wrote in the chat already. Yes, you can do this. We have a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts, both in zoology.
Yeah, so they can do the Taylor's ADP Applied Science major under the Applied Science major and then transfer the credits over. Great.
Definitely.
Chelsea, Jenny? Yes?
Sorry, it's just G-chatting. I do not believe we do not have a zoology degree, but we have lots of other ones.
Okay. All right. So anybody wants to say anything else before we end? We're really tight for time. You want to just say something closing, Jenny?
Yes, thank you very much. I'll be very brief. I just want to say thank you again on behalf of the University of Minnesota and the opportunity to do this. Wonderful to have the chance to speak to everyone, to see colleagues that I don't get to see so much anymore during these weird times, but always a pleasure. So thank you so much. Chelsea?
Thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning or a Friday night. We're really proud to host Malaysian students all across the USA. So like Daying advised you, please still strive for what your dreams are, and we would love to see you on our campuses.
Great. Sam?
I echo what my colleagues just said. Taylor students are wonderful students, and Malaysian students in general bring such strong academics to our campus, have a variety of different interests. So keep striving, keep working hard, and we hope to see your applications potentially in the future.
Great, thanks. And Jackson, last?
Thanks very much. Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's just so great to be able to connect with you. We wish we could do this in person. Many of us have visited Malaysia several times. I know I have. We're excited to meet you as soon as possible and are happy to support you in every step of the way. And Prima, if I could add or ask, I guess, for my colleagues, if you're willing and able, would it be valuable for us to put some contact information for each of our universities in the chat, so that way if students have any questions directly for the universities to continue this conversation?
Yes, please do. You can, you can put that all in the chat. Everybody has been, so at least it's a contact point. That's great. Yeah. Daying? Anything to close and say?
Thank you, Prima and the team, for having me and the rest of my amazing colleagues here. If I can say on behalf of everyone, we miss you guys. You know, this is such a great opportunity to meet you guys virtually. So we aren't able to travel. I met some of you earlier this year, right before Malaysia borders shut down. So that was gold for me. But I mean, right now, this is all we can do, but we're here for you guys via our social media platforms and email and Zoom. So if you have any questions, please reach out, and hopefully we'll all be able to meet on Taylor's campus real soon.
Yes, definitely. We can't wait for that. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you the speakers today for joining us and taking your time to be with us, and we really appreciate and value your relationship with Taylor's ADP. Thank you to the ADP students and staff for coordinating and helping to organize this session. It's been really an interesting discussion that we've had. And to our participants, thank you as well for joining us on this Saturday morning or whatever time zone we all live in. I hope the session has been very informative. And if you would like any personalized counseling sessions or to ask any further questions, you can join us after this session. And don't forget, we have our next session where we will be talking about major specific areas in the ADP program next week. So if you can like our Facebook and Instagram pages, it's called the official Taylor's ADP page. If you like it, you will be up to date with all the events that we're having and these sessions as well in the series of the dialogue with Taylor's ADP. So from all of us at Taylor's ADP, we wish you the best and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.